Muskego-Norway School District, I'm proud to announce that Jeff Peterson is this year's keynote speaker for our career fair. Jeff is the co-founder, CEO of Geneva Supply, Inc. and Interstate Music. He's the creator of BizTank. Jeff is going to talk to you about social media, branding, networking, and the importance of these tools that are going to help prepare you for next steps along your career journey. Muskego-Norway School District, please join me in welcoming your keynote speaker, Jeff Peterson.
What do you want to be when you grow up? This is that question we've all been asked throughout our entire lives. And if you go back to the times when you were asked that question, I think you'll realize how difficult it was for you to actually give a real answer to it. And why is that? At different stages of our lives, we've had different stages of experiences. As a society, we make those decisions for our careers as we've tried, failed, and learned about those opportunities, those jobs. We learn through experience. So what I think is important for us to start to realize, as we start to talk to kids about answering that question, we have to understand that they are picking based on experiences they've had. So if you start looking at some of the answers that we get, kids are saying they want to be a fireman, a police officer, a doctor, maybe something that their parents do because they're experiencing that or seeing it firsthand. Maybe it's on TV. Maybe somebody came to the classroom and actually talked about their job. A lot of kids actually say they want to be a teacher. Why do so many kids want to be teachers? Because let's face it, they build relationships with who they go and spend the most time with. So Mr., Mrs., Miss, so-and-so in the classroom that they really, really like, kids decide they want to do and be exactly what they are. I think it's important for us to start to understand that the best way for kids to actually direct themselves and figure out what they want to be is by us actually offering those experiences to them. We have something to look back on that actually helped us understand this process. And I don't understand why we don't put more into our career future as we did basically like food. As an infant, we start eating soft foods. Then we grow up to solid foods. And even in the medical world, they start talking about, do we actually give them dairy or peanuts or introduce other types of foods because of allergies or our body's not quite ready to have that in our system, so we react to it in a purposeful, in a positive way. We should start looking at that process that we've gone through the same way when we start expecting our students and our kids to figure out what their path looks like. As we start to want to get better answers, we have to start realizing we have to start giving better solutions. So instead of asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? Maybe the best thing for us to do is start to say, hey, this is what I do. Would you like to know more about it? Ask me any questions you have. Or, hey, I know somebody that does this. Would you like to try that? Would you like to go get that experience? Because I think the most important thing is We realize as adults that we figure out what we like and what we don't like based on what we've done. So why should it be any different for the kids in their process of figuring out what they want to be? Do they want to go to college? Do they actually want to get into the trades? Do they want to get a 2-year degree? Do they want to go to the police academy? Whatever that might be, it's all going to be based on those experiences, whether it's a job shadow, whether it's networking, whether it's programs that introduce them to more of those careers that are out there. I think the most important thing is being exposed to as many careers as possible. Once we start to get past 7th, 8th grade and get into the high school and college years, it's going to start to be more of a value to go out and get those experiences than to just sit back and think about what we might want to do. There's a huge investment with our futures, and I think it's important for us to start to realize that the stress that we put on those kids by asking that one simple question of what do you want to be when you grow up can start to get more factual and stress-free if we start to help them explore the opportunities that are out there. So what is career exploration, and when should it start? It actually starts a lot sooner than any of us realize. And it's not because we're the ones asking that question or trying to get it to start. Take a look at what these kids have to say, and I think you'll understand how early it actually does start.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be... Hey, I never thought of that. Let me think about that. Whoa.
I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
Elementary teacher. I like little kids.
A babysitter.
A pastor.
Dolphin trainer.
A dental that eats bugs. A haircutter.
A person who helps in charities.
I'm a cashier at Walmart.
An author. Chapter books about mythical creatures and animals and things.
I want to be a lawyer.
Lawyer.
Pilot. Pilot. And a dad. A pilot racer dad. Scientist. Paleontologist. Mine for dinosaur bones and studies them.
YouTuber.
Movie star.
A famous actor.
Actor.
On stage.
On TV.
On Disney Channel.
Or commercials. I gotta be a model.
I'll work it.
If I want a model, I'll just be a policeman. Police officer. A cop. I want to do car chases. Catch bad guys. A superhero. Batman. Spider-Man.
I would like to go into the U.S. Army because my grandma, she loved the Army, but she never went into the service.
I want to be the third African-American gymnast. Gymnastic coach.
I want to be a professional dancer.
Dancer.
Dance teacher.
Ballerina.
Professional soccer player. I have a shirt on right now that's for Barcelona.
Soccer player.
Basketball player.
Basketball, football, or soccer player. Or baseball. I can never choose. I do not know. I'm still working on that.
Maybe when I grow up, I'll pick. I already have a whole plan. Serve the Air Force for 20 years, become a businessman, make my own company for cars.
I want to be a Pokemon trainer. I want to work at Target. I want a cake. I want to be a pop star, rock star, singer.
I want to be a cook.
But I don't really know how to actually cook.
I want to be an artist.
Painter. I want to be an artist that goes around painting walls.
An artist and a video game maker.
Video game designer. Video game. I want to be a filmmaker. Whatever my dad is.
Do you know what your dad is?
I'm not sure. I would be a doctor. Doctor. A mermaid. A mermaid doctor.
Heart surgeon. Neurosurgeon.
Cardiologist.
Gynecologist. Pediatrician, the kid's doctor.
Pediatrician.
And why do you want to do that?
I want to be a doctor and then I can wear rainbow sweatpants.
I really want to be a nurse. Everyone says you have to be very good at science and math. I'm not really, but I still want to be one.
I want to be a pet doctor because I like helping animals. Pet vet. Veterinarian.
Zoologist.
Princess Fairy zookeeper.
How much do you think they get paid?
$29.
I remember that exact moment when I was asked that question when I was a kid. I wanted to be a football player. So it becomes very, very obvious to us why they answered that question the way they did at the age that they are. But now that you're a junior or senior in high school or even in college, when does that career exploration actually truly start? It starts now. It starts right now. It starts when you can actually start to take control of what that looks like. Because you actually are in control of whether or not you're going to go out there and make something happen. You're going to go out there and ask those questions. You're going to go out there and go follow somebody on their job for an entire day, a half day, a couple of hours. You're going to go out there and start to experience those opportunities and start to use that to figure out exactly what you want to do. Now, you don't have to have all of the answers, but you do have to take that responsibility on once you hit high school and you're starting to figure out whether you want to go to college or not. You do have to take some responsibility on for yourself to go out there and explore and figure it out. Now, you can go out there and get those experiences in a lot of different ways. And it can come through job shadows. It can come through community service. It can come through a summer job that you have. And let's face it, sometimes we look at those experiences and those jobs as unimportant, just something to be doing to keep ourselves busy. Maybe it's just something to earn money for spending money or to buy a car or to put towards college or something else that's important to you. The fact of the matter is, flipping burgers at a restaurant or being a waiter or waitress or washing cars or helping somebody out, it really is part of you having that chance to ask those questions and find out more about the business, find out more about customer service, find out what it takes to actually commit yourself to working those hours every single day, because that is part of building yourself up to actually be successful and giving those opportunities and experiences to figure out what you want to do. So keep your head on a swivel, because those opportunities come by more often than you think. And I think it's important when you're driving down the roads and you're looking at all these different companies and all these different types of businesses that are out there, start to figure out what you want to go explore and what you want to try. Because these are the years that you're going to be able to formulate those decisions, and I don't want you to pass that up. Take advantage of the opportunities that are out there. Take advantage of the people that you know or the people that they know. It's all out there for you to figure out, but give yourself a little bit of ammunition so that you can better educate yourself for making that decision. I cannot stress this enough. Put everything into what you do. And when I mean everything, I mean all of your time, all of your effort, all of your focus, because there's so many things that I can go back on and wish that I put more time and effort into. I think every adult would have a story that they could talk about I wish I would have. I wish I would have cared more, put more time into. Because if I could sit here and explain to every high school student and college student across the country and say how important it is to understand that what you're doing is what you have to do. So put the time and energy and focus into it. Even if it's that class that you don't think you're ever going to learn anything or need anything in the future for, there are things in everything that we do that we should be able to focus on and learn from. If you have to sit through that class, you might as well pay attention and get something out of it. I think it's also important when we start to talk about all the different organizations that we're part of, the different sports, the different commitments that we make. Don't just check the box. Focus on what you're actually doing and get something out of it. This isn't all about building your resume with a bunch of words. This isn't about putting on a college application, a whole bunch of organizations, because you think it makes you look better. You have to care more about the time you put into things and what you're getting out of it, because if you're putting the time into it, you have to get that return. Don't just check that box. And there's really something that I think all of us need to realize is you will learn something from everything. Everything that you do, there's a message to it. Every conversation that you have, there's something that you're going to get from it. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's from a teacher, a parent, a brother, a sister, you're going to learn something from every conversation that you have, every job that you experience. I think it's really important. It's that I care factor that is going to change you from somebody else to win that race or change the game or finalize a decision and elevate you to that place that you want to be at so desperately, and you want to be what you want to be. It is going to start in that process of caring about everything you're doing along the way. Ask now, or you'll forever wish you had. I say this all the time to high school students. And the reason I say it is because there is a window of opportunity and time in your life that people are more apt to try to help you with your future and answer all of those questions. If you remember when you were a little kid or you've babysat little kids and they're always asking that question, why, how, what do you mean? I don't understand. There is a tolerance that comes with age and comes with that experience of that student. So the big thing is you have to understand this is your time. So participation is actually still part of your grade in the outside world. You have to be the one that is creating that timing, asking those questions, getting those answers, because now is the time that you're trying to formulate what exactly it is you want to do. And if you're not asking those questions and you're not connecting and trying to make those dots play into your path, you're losing that timing. Because once you get out into the real world and you actually have a job, people start thinking that you've got to figure out those answers on your own. You've got to come up with it by yourself. You've already hit that level that you can go talk to somebody else, or I don't have time, I've got my own job to worry about. Let's face it, people naturally want to share. They want to share their experiences. They want to share their stories. If they're asked questions, they want to give you those answers because they naturally want to help you. And I think you have to understand that if you don't ask those questions, you will not get those answers. It sounds so simple, but your student years are not the time to be quiet, to sit back and just let life come at you. Your student years are the moments to go out there and force yourself into the world, because you have to take that responsibility on for yourself. So, when it comes down to it, you need to start networking now. You need to start building who your circle of, I would say, circle of mentors, circle of the people that you can trust, that you can go to and find out information. Start that now, because when you do go out and get your job, you've already established that relationship and kind of that partnership in communication and how you work with each other and how you're there for them if they're there for you. So we talk about that all the time about whether it's LinkedIn or other social networking platforms. What is that age to start? When you're in high school, a junior and senior, when you're starting to be asked, to figure out exactly what you're going to do, that is the time to start building it for yourself and start to understand that the network that you're creating and asking all those questions, it's now. So this is a hard point to kind of get you to understand because it becomes very sensitive and more personal. Because personally speaking, what you have to realize is you are what they think you are. Now, I'm not saying you're not an individual. I'm not saying not to try to be you and not conform to society, but you have to understand when people don't know you, there is a level of reality to the fact that they're going to look at you and have a thought about who you are, how you're holding yourself. Do they think you look like you'd be reliable? Does it look like you're a hard worker? There are things that we all, in our own minds, and I wish it weren't that way, but people will make those judgments long before they get a chance to put the time into getting to know you. Whenever we go and we start school or start a new job, in those brief moments that you get a chance to know somebody, those first impressions, people start to assume things and make those judgments about who they think they click with, who they think they can count on, who they think they can go to for information. So it is important to start focusing on what your brand is. When you get to be a junior or senior in high school and then on through your college years, you have to start focusing a little bit more on your personal brand because you can figure out exactly what it is you want people to see in you. And you can start to create that and control that and put that out there so that people don't pass judgment on you that might be something that you don't want them to think. So your personal brand, it is what you put out there, what you post. So you have to understand that socially speaking, clean it up. I know you want to live out there and you want to be different for your friends and you want to look like this is how your group of friends acts and these are the things that you do. But as you start to understand that your next steps are more about what's happening outside of your group of friends and more about what you're trying to be as you move through your educational process or what you're going to do after high school or what you're going to do after college. And that starts when you're a junior, senior in high school. So make sure you understand what exactly you have on your social platforms. Go out there and look at your Facebook. Go out there and look at your Instagram. Look at the pictures that you have. Go all the way back to when it started. And let's face it, you don't have 2,000 friends. You don't. None of us have 2,000 friends. You have to start understanding who you actually know and what they can share from your profiles and your content. When employers are starting to look for people to invest their money into, it starts to be an investment of who they want to work for their company, and they're going to look at your social media. So make sure that you've got the person that you want them to see and know and understand versus maybe some things that you are doing or posting that isn't going to put you in the best light. I get it. You're young. But you also have to understand you have to start looking at your future a little bit differently now when it comes to social media. So you have to figure out what platform you're going to start to create that branding. Yes, clean up your social media, but also start creating your experience platform, which I would suggest developing a LinkedIn profile. This is going to be a chance for you to share work experiences, the type of person that you are, the organizations that you're part of, certificates that you've earned, and stay on top of it because that, again, is going to be any job that you get, people are going to start looking at your LinkedIn profile. And they're going to be impressed that you've taken the time to actually put yourself out there and start to develop that. So when it comes to personal branding, start branding. Career exploration for high school students has become almost a mission of mine because I realize there's so much of a struggle with students trying to figure out, should I go to college? What should I major in? What do I want to actually do for a career that I'm going to enjoy and love and kind of want to sink their teeth into? And I think that is the main reason why I came up with the nonprofit program BizTank. Because BizTank is all about career exploration. And it's a program that allows the students to actually understand other people's journeys, because those are truly the ones that are going to pave their way. So by understanding and listening to other people's journeys from where they thought they were going to be in high school, what they thought they wanted to do, and the path that they took to get them to where they are today, there's so much valuable information inside that journey that we can ask questions about. We can find out, why did they leave this job to go to this job? They were making this much money, but they were willing to make less money. They thought they wanted to be in finance, and then they ended up being an engineer. What triggered that? What would they have done differently? And how much did they enjoy the journey, and how much of it was a struggle? This is what helps take that pressure off, that stress off of the high school students today. And also, if we can do that when they're in high school, as they're growing through and figuring out after high school whether they go to college or not, it gives them something to actually kind of build upon and be able to look back and say, hey, you know, so-and-so that I saw speak or that I talked to or asked questions to, they went through something similar. And still being able to, you know, as I often mention, build that network of people that you feel you can reach out to and actually ask those questions, because those are lifelong relationships that are going to help you through some tough times. I always want to make it clear as well that don't shut doors to places you've never even seen yet. And this comes into a situation when you're looking at what you want to be and the different jobs and the different career paths that you might want to go. Don't just only focus on things that you know or people that you know that have done these things. And that is a big part when you say career exploration, that's the exploration part. Go out there and try things or talk to people that do something that is in an industry or a field that you've never even dreamt about or think you're even qualified to be in, because knowing what they do and knowing what's necessary, you never know when you're going to be able to pull on that information and other people's experiences in that for your own good. So how do you build your network? So many kids look up to people or think that this teacher or this person that they know, a friend of the family, is a mentor to them. You hear them saying it all the time. But honestly, mentorship is something that you need to ask for. It's not just given. People will give you and share information and stories, but truly having a mentor is somebody that you're going to be able to sit down with, help with your thoughts, your goals, your strategies, and have them get to know you personally. Because if somebody doesn't actually truly know you and know what's making you tick, or the challenges that you're having in school, what types of classes you like, what are the extracurricular activities, what's the community service, what are those things that are helping you connect, they're just going to be a person you're asking questions to and getting some advice. Mentors can get deeper into who you are and truly help guide you. So it's something you're going to have to go out and reach for and talk to somebody and get to know them, and then ask them if they're willing or have the time to actually be your mentor. Because mentorship is a big responsibility. If somebody asks me to be their mentor, it is a commitment. It's a commitment that I'm going to be there for them, whether it's to talk to them on a monthly basis, whether it's to help with letters of recommendation, to help them network into opportunities, possibly help them find job shadows or internships. Mentorship is a commitment on both sides. And I think that's very, very important. And it often gets lost. The other thing that I want to make sure everybody realizes is everybody can be different in the way that they do things. But I want you to be different in the way that you do what you do. And I mean that in the sense that everybody thinks there's only one way to do a certain job or a certain task. But there's really only one way that you can do it. And I think it's okay to embrace how you focus on a project, a task, a job, a class, a career, an organization, a commitment, a sport. And I think understanding and having that interconnection to how you do it and how you succeed and what makes you successful in something, also what has made you fail at certain tasks. But that understanding of you being different in the way that you do it is really important, and embrace that reality because there's not a lot you're going to be able to do about changing who you are. So understanding who you are and how you do things, that's really what's going to make it work. So when it comes down to career exploration, it really is a lot of different levels and tiers of what you're going to be responsible for, accountable for. But if you take that time and understand those steps and the ways to go about it, that's where you're going to find that success, and that's where you're going to find really your happiness. So I've learned one of the best parts about being an adult is having two things. One, that you get to go back and look at all of your mistakes. And two, you get to have that hindsight of coming up with all the reasons and things that you would have changed had you have known. And I think one of those things is the reality that if I would have known that when I was in high school and making that college decision, that it was one of the most important investments I was going to make, also one of the most expensive investments. So I always say when it comes to your biggest investment being your future, you've got to make sure you're not investing without doing all of your research. It's such a big decision that sometimes we try to downplay the importance of what you're going to do because we don't want to stress out 17 and 18-year-old kids. And I get that part of it. Part of what I've done for a career in the mentorship side, the career exploration side, and the nonprofit BizTank program is trying to relieve some of that stress. However, there is a reality to what that process is and what that decision is. And it comes down to a financial responsibility of what you're going to do. So I think it's more important now with the prices and the cost of education to really start to understand what exactly that investment looks like. Can you afford that investment? Where is it going to take you? What is the career path that you're going down? What does that job even pay after graduation, and what does it look like? Is there a path to financial freedom, success, and ease, or are you paying a high price for education that your career that you're choosing doesn't even necessarily have a pay range that's going to make it comfortable for you to pay that back? Now, I'm not saying to base everything on money, but I am saying do the research on what those costs are. There are facilities and schools and universities and colleges across the entire country to help you get your education. And you have to determine with a deep honesty of what is that place that you can get it from that is still going to give you that best opportunity for starting your career and getting into the job market. We talk often about going out and visiting colleges and finding that place that feels like it fits you. But we also have to understand in life, there isn't just one place that is going to fit and feel comfortable. I tell people all the time, go out and look at small colleges, look at huge universities, and find out what the tech schools in the area look like and feel like, and start to create a path of what that might feel like for you, and figure out the financial side of it, and also what that social and lifestyle portion of it is as well. And you're going to be able to, because you know your own financial situation, exactly what that needs to look like as far as a balance for you. Because in the end, I think it's important for you to know that whatever you're taking out for student loans or for whatever those commitments are, you have to pay those back. And that is going to hinder some of maybe your goals if you've got a lot of debt coming right out of college. We sit here as adults, as you get your jobs and your finances straight, and you look at investing into a home. And I go back and I look at some of these college kids that graduate and have this student debt, and sometimes it's larger of a debt than it actually is for that first home that people are buying. So it is important to look at it all. I know we try to remove that financial stress from students, and I know as a student that's looking to do it, sometimes it's hard to look at that side of it, but I think it's very, very important to be a 17, 18-year-old kid and have that responsibility before you start making that leap. So it comes down to a maturity, and it comes down to a responsibility of what this journey looks like and where it's starting, but also where it's headed and what is going to create stumbling blocks and challenges for you to make those next steps. Because there's one thing I don't want for anyone is to not take a first job that they're offered simply because it doesn't pay enough. Because part of the career exploration, it is once you're in your career, taking on jobs, getting that experience, getting that exposure to work life, and learning from it. Because I do also want to stress that first job out of college, there's probably no way you're retiring from that company. So take it all in, get it all laid out as best you can, but be real about it, be understanding about it, and be fiscally responsible for it. So when it comes down to starting your journey, start it in a positive way, understanding what that future actually looks like. So I would like to thank Muskego High School and their Connect Academy program for having me speak to you today. I certainly hope that you've gotten something out of the presentation, the different segments that I focused on, and maybe, just maybe, there was a little nugget in there that you can take away that is going to help you figure out your path, your journey, and as parents, maybe a different way of looking at some of the topics that your high school student is going through. So it's been a lot of fun for me, and it's been a great honor for taking the time today to present to you, and I can't thank you enough. Peterson, out.